Ladies and gentlemen, as always, welcome back to the BB-Scho. I'm your host, Beebs, here with my longtime co-host, Chen. And we're once again graced by the presence here on NBA Tuesday of Mr. Luke Dierlam. Luke, welcome back.
How's it going? How's it going?
It's going good, going good. All right, a little quieter week in the NBA, around the league news, a little quieter than last week, but a couple injuries to talk about. But I think one of the highlights, Booker's 58-point game. You guys, Christian, what's your initial reactions? I know we've had our fair share of Booker slander on this podcast.
Yeah. And look, it's what he does. I've never questioned his scoring ability. Um, it's just what he does for the Suns is keeps them good in the regular season. Like he's a good regular season player. His numbers have never been bad really in the regular season. I don't know, man. I mean, it's like when Clay dropped 60, like if he did it again this season, like it's really cool. I believe, yeah, it's a great storyline. He obviously a great night, but like it doesn't really change my opinion of him as a player, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to like completely undermine it and be like a hater, but it's like, yeah, like I knew he could do this. That's I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't know if you feel any different.
I don't know. I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen Booker. I mean, to me, it's significant that it's against the Pelicans. It's obviously not the first time I've seen him score a bunch of points, but in what we consider to be a game of the week big stage, because of all the hype around, he actually showed up.
Yeah,
And this
that's true.
obviously it's just a regular season game, so I'm not saying this has any indicative or vindicates any of the prior actions in the playoffs and Luka losses and whatnot. But just duly noted, I guess, that this was technically our game of the week. I guess did we call it that? I can't remember, but yeah.
I mean, from a numbers standpoint, like for the records, you could
Yeah.
call it that.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, Luke, what's your thoughts on the whole Devin Booker thing? I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean, I guess you could say it was game of the week just because this whole rivalry has been brewing and they, just played last week or whatever. And everyone was hopping on the Pelicans bandwagon. They're thinking that they're gonna come to Phoenix and, run right through them for the third time. But I think just for the pride of the Suns, this was like pretty big. I mean, granted, Devin Booker was injured the first two times that they played. But for him to come back and drop 58, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I'm glad. I mean, I'm still a Suns hater. I'm still riding the Pelicans train, but just for solely for the Suns' pride and yeah, let's say that the Pelicans did end up beating them and Booker played and maybe he didn't have as good of a game. I think there would be a lot of talk about people writing off the Suns just solely
mm,
because of this Pelicans rivalry. But I think it's good that they got this dub, and obviously it's good for Booker. I forget the stat that I saw earlier, but he's got his like number of 50-point games keeps going closer to Kobe. So he's a very Kobe-esque
well,
player. But yeah, I mean, good for D Book. Don't really care about the Suns, but yeah, yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
good take on the team, though. I will say I didn't really look at it from that aspect of how big it was that he did it against the Pelicans. I was more just looking
Yeah.
at the performance in total, and I would agree that definitely for the locker room, it's very significant. And yeah, losing three to that team would not be good for morale. But you mentioned injuries, and that's the next thing I want to touch on because Anthony Davis optimistically will come back in a month.
Who would have saw that
Yeah,
coming? Who would have saw an
yeah.
Anthony Davis injury coming? Oh man.
Can't say we haven't seen this story before. And then Steph Curry, actually, I believe, is dealing with a shoulder issue, and that should sideline him for quite a bit as well. So I will pose a question to the panel. Uh, what's more impactful? Like which injury? And when I say that, I'm not saying who's the better player because we all know it's Steph Curry. I'm saying in terms of given like their team situation, rest of the schedule against the NBA, whatever your case, who is the more impactful injury right now this season?
I think it comes down to our differing opinions on the Lakers. In my opinion, it really doesn't matter that Anthony Davis got hurt because they weren't going to accomplish anything. But I would lean towards, that team runs through Anthony Davis. So, but you could say the same about Steph. So I'm really close to 50-50, but I'm leaning towards Steph just because the Warriors have a higher ceiling in my book. And they're already struggling, but they could come out the other side of this. Jordan Poole steps up. Some of these bench younger guys start to have to take on a bigger role, and it ends up helping their, rotations come the new year. But yeah, I could see the case for Anthony Davis here too.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it's really close. And as for Steph Curry's case, I'm not sure how long he's going to be out, but I did just see Jordan Poole had a big game. I feel like, that's good for his
43.
development. Yeah, I mean, that's really good, especially while Steph Curry's out. I mean, Jordan Poole's getting a lot more looks, but I mean, I don't know. When you look at teams like the Lakers, you have LeBron and AD. If you're missing one of those components, like sometimes I just watch the Lakers. I mean, if I'm being honest, half the time I watch the Lakers, AD's injured. So I've seen a lot. I've seen
It's
a lot
more
of
than
both.
half, man.
Yeah, probably at this point more than half. But I just look at the Lakers sometimes, even with LeBron, and sometimes they'll be rolling, but I find them getting so lost in the middle of some games, and they kind of they just can't pull anything together. I mean, Pat Bev starts, shooting
He's really bad
threes,
this
and
year.
yeah,
Oh,
it's just I don't know. Like LeBron is LeBron, so he can always get his, and he can get assists and all this, and that is the Lakers. Like that is the Lakers. I mean, without Anthony Davis, he provides so much defense, offense, obviously. And then Steph, I think the Warriors have a lot of I don't know, like more viable options, I guess you could say.
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the Warriors this year they only win at home. They really don't win on the road. I forget what the stat was, but they were at some point they
They're
were
3-14 right now on the road.
yeah,
And
and at
12-2 at home.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, I think you could make the case for both of these injuries being severely impactful, but if I had to choose, I'm not really worried about the Warriors losing Steph right now. I think they'll figure it out. They're already, even when they had Steph, they were losing on the road. They're winning at home. As for the Lakers, AD gone, that's always a big hit. So I'd probably have to say AD on the Lakers.
I think that's
Yeah.
fair. And the other side of this too, and I briefly touched on it, but I'm actually genuinely, if I'm the Warriors, if I'm Steve Kerr, I might be a little excited about this because the reason they've been struggling so much this year is these young guys are struggling to take on that, they're find the rotations, take those steps forward to fill guys' shoes like Gary Payton, fill guys' shoes, Damian Lee, those role players that left from last year's championship team. And now you have an opportunity to get guys more minutes and start to iron out who you can trust come the playoffs. And I mean, eventually they're going to have to make a playoff push if they're going to remain around the 10 seed season, but I don't see that happening. They'll figure it out on the road. They could win half their games and be a top team in the West on the road, that is. But Christian, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I see like why Steph Curry would be so impactful, but it's just Anthony Davis having an MVP season, playing at the level he was, and just like again the Lakers' direction. This is like my cop out card. I mean, I said if this team is healthy, that's where I see them doing things. Not having Anthony Davis, like it would be just as bad if they lost LeBron. They rely just too much on him. It sucks, but they're formed the way the Nets are, and the Nets have actually kind of found their groove lately. But it stinks because I know the Lakers are going to be so bad now. Like they're probably in this next month going to win 2 or 3 games. They're going to be in the bottom 5, probably standing wise. And then by the time AD's back, they're going to fight for the play-in, and they might get it. They may not. It's just very unfortunate. But a lot of teams have been coming back to earth in terms of like the Trailblazers are back in the play-in. The Timberwolves do not look good without Towns. Who else was Jazz are falling? They're like almost
T-Wolves have
back to 500.
won 3 straight.
Yeah, but they're not in a good spot standing wise.
They really haven't
It's
been all year. They're sitting at
yeah,
the 8 seed.
it's
They've been 10-6 the whole year.
right. Like I think the Lakers will have a shot to definitely get to 10. It's
I could
just
agree
that's
with
a
that.
major blow. And what like the Jordan Poole, he actually you can look it up is way better career wise as a starter. Like he just gets in more of a groove. When the offense is kind of centered around him, he's better. And so I'm actually kind of excited to see what this team looks like. I'm not gonna say they're gonna be better, but I think people are gonna be a little surprised at how well they play. I think it'll probably
Yeah.
shock some people.
I wouldn't be
Because
surprised if
Poole
they
just
actually are
he's
better.
good, man.
Yeah.
He gets better every single year. So I'm excited to see his development. And yeah, that's all I got to say. And I think 80 is definitely more impactful. But like this, when you see both these guys out for extended period of time, definitely shakes up, the landscape of the NBA. Obviously, I think now Anthony Davis's MVP chances are kind of out the window. Uh, but it is what it is, man.
Shocker.
Yeah,
Shocker.
yeah.
I didn't even want to bring
Ah,
that up, but we were talking. I don't know if it was the first time I was on here or the last time, but I don't know. There was a lot of Anthony Davis for MVP, and it's just
I don't know where that was coming from because it wasn't me.
oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, I know.
he
I
was
know
on
it
the
wasn't
ladder,
you.
man.
I
He was
know.
out. He was
Oh,
like top
and
five on the ladder.
he's still I just brought up the basketball reference. He's number 7 right now, but
Oof.
I'm not saying that he is not an MVP caliber player, but when you have a guy who's made out of paper and glass, that's not how the league works. Like I honestly, if Jokic has his season, a great season, and then Anthony Davis plays good as well, I would see the NBA giving Jokic a third MVP over Anthony Davis if Anthony Davis was injured, just because you have to be able to play, man. Like that's my only knock on Anthony Davis. He's so good. I love watching him play. He impresses me sometimes. I sleep on him and he always impresses me. But like I said, man, I mean, he can take it. I saw a video where he jumped up and sprained his ankle mid-air. He didn't even land on it. He sprained it mid-air. I didn't even know that was possible. So I don't know, man. I
Yeah,
like AD, but
I'll keep sleeping on AD, man. No hate. It's just you're right. He's never available, and he has the nickname Anthony Day to Day Davis for a reason.
yeah.
Man.
It's really tragic because I mean he is a great player when he's healthy, but
Yeah.
he's never healthy, so we don't
I
ever
just
see
don't
that.
understand how he's out so long. Isn't it kind of sus? And this might be a conspiracy
Sounds like
theory
are you
that
about to
I don't
say he
need to.
doesn't want to play with LeBron anymore? So he just
I think he
No,
doesn't want to
it's
play till the playoffs. That's what I would think
yeah,
because
maybe, but it's like this dude is hurt every single year. We all can agree on that. And for some reason, he's still playing at MVP level. So it's not like he's getting severe injuries. It's almost like I don't want to say milking him because that sounds harsh, but like in the same note, like, could he have come back earlier last year at a certain point, maybe in previous seasons?
I mean,
Like,
why would he? He knows they're not going to do anything in the playoffs. Like, why
yeah.
would you want to? If you know you're going to go get hurt, like, why are you rushing back?
and maybe, but I just, ah, it just really sucks to see that, man. Now,
Yeah.
just when I thought they were turning things around, they finally moved Russ to the bench. Trade deadline's coming up, so I figured they would add somebody. Yeah,
I
it's
don't think they do it anymore.
toilet
I think they
now.
just bite
Yeah,
the bullet.
the Lakers were
They're
on such a
screwed.
good look. Yeah, they were looking up. I'm not gonna lie. I think me and Caleb were sleeping heavily on the Lakers at first, and rightfully so. They were kind of brutal, but Anthony Davis turned on the burners. Every rush moved to the bench, like you said. Like everything was looking good. It almost looked too good. And then what do you know?
Yeah.
All reliable. Anthony Davis, I'm convinced he's made out of paper and glass, I swear. But
Glass
regardless,
bones and paper skin.
yeah, like
Oh man.
Wakes up every morning, breaks his arms, shatters his
Man.
legs.
oh man. Yeah, this guy is just
SpongeBob reference for
oh
those
yeah.
out there. Go look it up.
Oh man.
But jeez, that it is what it is. Can't say I'm shocked. You don't see any surprise in my tone. Uh, we can just move on, man. He's
Yeah.
already got
So
Yeah.
enough
okay.
airtime.
So Christian, I think you would have said that before this injury. I guess I would have classified them as a sleeper team, but you wouldn't have. Would have been the Lakers. But do you have another addition? You know, a sleeper team maybe came out to a slower start, but you still are pretty confident in East or West.
Yeah. So where did you put the Nets again?
Where did I put the Nets? I'm gonna have to. I
I
think I put them at
believe
4 or 5.
perhaps I felt like it was lower. And maybe I mean, this is a bit of a cop out because how bad they were in the standings initially. Um, but okay. And maybe I should just clarify. We're thinking of like sluggish start, could rebound. I think I'll actually switch to the Mavericks because in my opinion, the Nets, like they already kind of are back. I don't really know if I consider them a sleeper team anymore, if that makes sense. Like I think we actually kind of agree that they're going to be the 3 or 4 seed. Nothing's wrong. Like they're where they need to be. The Mavericks are currently at 10 in the standings, maybe even lower after last night. So that for me, I think there's no way they don't get out of the play-in. Like I think they should probably be hovering around 4 or 5 by season's end. I do think a trade is coming. Who it's going to be, I have no idea. I hope they swing for the fences and get like Zach LaVine or some just major piece to alleviate the strain that's on Luca because his usage rate is just ridiculous, man. Like,
Yeah.
somebody else needs to get the ball other than just for a catch and shoot. Like, I love Reggie Bullock, but when he's playing heavy minutes, they need another option. Um, and yeah, that's really just my takeaway and my sleeper team that they should rebound. I don't think they're going to stay this bad.
I think that's fair. For the record, I checked the receipts. I had the Nets at 6. You had them at 3. But if I do
But
recall, I
yeah,
kind of
that's
said
not
like
much of a sleeper as I'm thinking about it. It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we knew they were going to be good eventually.
I've got one to throw out there, and maybe I'm going to be way off on this, but because they've had some locker room turmoil, and I don't if it's
Oh,
either going to go one way or the other. But I'm a little. The Hawks are sitting at the 8th seed, and I just with the addition of Dejounte Murray, they've looked really good at times, and then really poor at others, if that makes sense. And the Trae Young
yeah.
drama and whatnot, I I, I don't know. I'm still pretty bought in on them. I think that they could be they could win a series or two, depending on who they get matched up against, right? Like I could see them knocking somebody off, some of these teams above them, like the Sixers, Knicks, or Heat, even maybe the Nets if they catch them, at the wrong time, right? So I'll
That's
throw them
fair.
out there as a sleeper team. I don't have much like analytics or stats to back it up, but that's just kind of. I just feel like they're playing down. They're playing worse than their roster shows right now. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
I
Trey
agree with
Young's
that.
missed a good amount of games.
Yeah, I know, but
That's from what I've
I
noticed. Like they
yeah,
should definitely be better than where they're at. I don't think
they're
they
starting to
stay
slip
that.
under the radar. And I just want people to know, like, this is still a top team or still a
Yeah.
playoff team in the East, at least. Maybe
Yeah,
not a
I
top
like what
team.
the Hawks are doing as well. Like I remember when the Bucks won their championship, they made it far that season. Their roster was a little different, but I was surprised that they had even made it that far. And I feel like the Hawks, especially with the DeJounte Murray now, like I feel like at times you were kind of saying they're up and down. I feel like they play to their competition. And I
Hmm.
feel like when it comes to it, like before I say this, like I think that the Hawks are definitely going to sneak in and definitely make the playoffs for sure. I could see them maybe, second round exit, something like that, but I could also see them, Trae Young is going through a heater, man. Trae Young, he's basically like Steph Curry, but I don't know. I like the Hawks. I like the Hawks. I think they're a good sleeper team. I think they're right where they should be right now, especially with everything like the turmoil and Trae Young's injury. And I don't know. I think they're good, but I'll segment into my sleeper team, which
Yeah.
oh
The
man, I was going back and forth. I was in between about 3 teams. I was like, oh, maybe I back up my boy Anthony Edwards in Minnesota coming off a 3
oh
game.
boy.
Just beat Luca and the Mavericks, but no. I think I'm gonna rep my team. I don't know if you could call this a sleeper team, but
Oh man.
man, the 76ers, man,
Oh man.
slotted at the
Oh,
5 seed in the East. And, I look at these standings. Last time I looked at them, they were a 3 seed. And, things were looking a lot more up than they were right now. But
Won 5 straight.
yeah, I understand. The last time I checked,
you can't say things were looking up more last time I looked at them when they're on a
well,
5-game winning
granted, the
streak.
last time I checked was like probably over a month ago.
Okay,
So
okay.
Oh,
that's the
yeah,
only
fair.
reason. But, that's why I ultimately had to pick the 76ers is because of this 5-game streak. And this is all I gotta say. This might be a bold statement, but I'm
Oh
I'm
no.
Oh,
the inner
man.
James Harden in me needs to say this. This is how I view it, okay? The West, I'm not scared of anyone in the West if I'm the 76ers. There might be a team or two, but nah, just I'm not bought into the West as a conference. That is my statement.
What?
Secondly,
What does that even
the
mean?
Bucks, I'm not whoever makes it to the finals out of the West, I don't see them win the finals. The East is way too stacked. Celtics, Bucks, 76ers. And that leads me to my next point is the 76ers are playing very well right now. Embiid is having a sleeper MVP year, even though he's not on the top 10 list. But hey, that's another discussion. But the way I view it as is if we can hop over the Bucks and the Celtics, like we will make it out of the East, obviously. But teams like the Nets and the Cavs, they're such a toss up. Like I'm not fully bought into the Cavs. The Nets have, if you have someone like KD, the sky is the limit always. But
Yeah.
the Celtics, that's another team where I feel like we match up decently well with them, but they have so much firepower. So I would say my main concern is the Celtics. The Bucks are obviously they have Giannis, they're good, but I don't know, man. If things fall into place just like how I need them. I mean, I know that's it sounds dumb to say, but I think those are the two teams. We get over the Bucks and the Celtics. I'm not worried about anyone
I don't
else.
know.
That's all I gotta say.
You're not going to get a lot of opposition from me on this because I'm pretty sure I slotted Embiid as my MVP pick at the start of the year and the Sixers at like a 2 seed. So I don't know. I have a hard time classifying them as a sleeper team, but I agree with everything else you said. If they can find a way to miraculously get through Boston or Milwaukee, I think they match up fine against anybody in the West. I don't think that they guaranteed to beat every team that could potentially
No,
come out of the
okay. They're
West.
not guaranteed to beat, but just I don't know, man. I'm just the West this year. They have some great teams, and it's just I don't know. I look at both conferences, and I see the Celtics as who I think is going to win the championship this year, but I don't know, man. I don't know I keep going in circles here, but I'm not bought in on the West, man. The East is so loaded this year, like I don't know.
No, I don't disagree. The East is definitely, in my opinion, a stronger conference this year, especially if the Warriors are going to hang around 500 all year, and nobody likes the Suns. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
That's accurate.
but yeah, I don't disagree. I'm going in circles too. I mean, I think the Sixers are true contenders out of the East. I don't have any debate. I don't know if I'd call
yeah.
them a sleeper team though.
I don't know if I'd call them a sleeper team, but I mean they're a 5th seed right now, and they have the same record as the Knicks. So if the Knicks are considered a sleeper team, then I guess you got to call the 76ers one too. But anyway, we can move on. We can pivot off that.
We All right, let's do we want to go who he played for a little bit, or do we want to do some better or worse?
Let's go better or worse. We
All right,
end with
all right.
who he played for segment.
So all right, so the two guys we got today are Butler, Jimmy Butler, and Nikola Jokic. We'll each bring a guy or two for a discussion, like we did last week. I liked the way that worked. So kicking off with
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, I got a decent comparison all time, better or worse than Jimmy Butler. Tracy McGrady.
Wow.
Wow. That is
I'll take the floor. I'll take the floor first. I don't know how much thinking we got to do here, but I think right
I'm
off rip
thinking.
when you think about that, you think of T-Mac, this 6'8", basically shooting guard who could do it all. Obviously, injuries plagued his whole career, and stat-wise, I would have to bring that up to see what their efficiencies were like and the shooting percentages as well. But I mean, I'm rocking the Raptors shirt right now. I don't. Our viewers on besides YouTube, you can't see this, but I'd have to go Tracy McGrady solely because I think offensively he's definitely got the edge. I think he was a solid defender, maybe not as well as Jimmy Butler, but I think I'd have to go Tracy McGrady. But I will give Butler the edge, as in when the playoffs come around, especially defensively, Butler's the guy who makes those little plays that win games. Like he's getting those little steals, blocks, all that stuff. And I feel like T-Mac, we really didn't see that. We didn't see that too much defensively, at least. But I think overall, I have to go T-Mac. He's one of my favorite players of all time.
Yeah, and oh man, I can't really agree with that take. Just because I love Tracy
Yes.
McGrady as well, man. I love with the Rockets, the crazy, was it 13 points in 33 seconds, like
Oh yeah.
something just and the Magic, even his years there, was slept on, but you're almost undermining Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, man. Like
Oh, I
he
am.
had
I'm
the
admitting that
success,
I am. I am
he
admitting that I
had
am
the
for sure.
success that Tracy McGrady could never get, even with a guy like Yao Ming and running mates in Orlando. I again, the talent is there, but I would say like defensively, Jimmy Butler puts him kind of close to that level. And then when I look at the playoff, the success, the longevity in his career success, all time, I'm gonna have to take Jimmy Butler, and it doesn't even make me feel good to say it because I love watching. Tracy McGrady is more fun to watch. He's way more fun as a scorer. He's gonna give you more points, but Jimmy Butler can still score. He's not as flashy, but he still, is up there in terms of like leading his team in points per game. And we know what he brings defensively. So I'm gonna have to roll Jimmy Butler. It stinks to say it, and it's always the what if. If Tracy McGrady was healthy, I obviously could see myself saying differently. I think longevity probably would have more success as he gets older as a player. That's how Jimmy Butler's been. It took him a while to finally get to peak Jimmy. But yeah, that's my take
Yeah.
on the whole situation.
That's a fair take. I mean, I think I'm biased because Tracy McGrady's always been one of my favorite players, and that what if factor, like I know I shouldn't account for this in better or worse all the time, but I'm
Well,
admitting I'm
that's what makes it
biased.
fun.
So yeah, I'm admitting my bias here, but yeah, it's very hard to say because Tracy McGrady is I don't know if you could say he's not as proven as Jimmy Butler has proven himself, because playoff Jimmy, I mean, he's like I remember, I forget what year,
They
but he
got
was
to a
playing like
finals.
he was playing like a top 3 player in the league. He was the whole team. So I don't know. I mean, I'll let bias, whatever you want to call it, take advantage. But yeah, that's a fair take, though. I see
I can
both
respect
sides.
that. Yeah, you're just like, yeah, no, I'm a little biased. I respect that.
All right, I might have to bring the hammer down on this one a little bit.
Oh,
look,
jeez.
look, we talk about playoff Jimmy Butler. It's weird how narratives start. It's absolutely, I definitely think he definitely elevates his game in the playoffs. But T Mac, he was that guy, man, averaging over 30 points with the Magic and whatnot. And I know I'm making the case for T Mac a little bit right now, but he never won a playoff series. He didn't win a single playoff series
Okay.
his
I thought you
entire
were about to
career.
like,
he didn't
Yeah.
win a playoff series in his entire career. And Jimmy
yeah.
Butler has willed the likes of Kyle Lowry into the East Finals like 3 years running now. Like Kyle Lowry has been terrible. And rookie Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. Okay, actually he's a pretty good player, but you get my point. Like he's
Dwayne
done
Dedman.
he's done exactly what T Mac never could do. And for that reason, I have to give the edge to Jimmy Butler. But if we're playing a pickup game, I'm taking T-Mac.
That's and that's honestly, I was gonna say that earlier, but like the way I envision it is, at least for this specific comparison, I forget what like the NBA cartoon like all time 1v1 thing was, but I just envisioned both of them playing 1v1. Dude, T-Mac's gonna tear him up. I don't care about defense, bro. But anyway, that's not the point. My what if factor still stands. Jimmy Butler, I think T-Mac's never won a playoff series, like you said, but
and look, I'm pretty unbiased because I actually, outside of his years with Chicago, I have a pretty big beef with Jimmy Butler mainly because he's cost me multiple parlays over the years because he just goes out there and does cardio sometimes for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's so annoying. But in the playoffs, man, this guy, he clearly elevates. So
yeah, for sure.
All right. Christian, who you got comparison for Jimmy?
Oh man, I had a name, but even just this McGrady comparison, it's way too high of a name. So I'm gonna go a notch lower. And this is gonna be interesting because we did factor in health and whatnot. Better or worse than Kawhi Leonard?
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that is spicy. I'm glad you guys can take it away. I'm glad.
I think I got it. Caleb, you can go first, but
No, go ahead because I
okay.
gotta weigh him.
Process.
I'm trying to make the case for somebody in my
Okay. Well, I'm gonna, before I say anything, Caleb, I know you watched Jimmy High Roller. I don't know if you've seen the new Pyramid, but
I did see the new Pyramid, but I forget
yeah.
what he did with this. So go ahead.
Okay, so for the viewers to know what we're talking about, so this YouTuber, Jimmy High Roller, very good statistical person when it comes to NBA stuff, but he has this top 30 players of all time, and I think the last time he made one was a couple years ago. He just now recently did it, and I'm not saying my opinion is strict, whatever this guy says is my opinion, but I did like kind of the players that he put in there, and he actually put Kawhi in his top 30 players of all time, which when you account injuries and stuff like that, I don't know, that I think that's hard to say. Top 50, I think, is very fair to say, considering the fact that when he won his championship with the Raptors, like not only that shot over Embiid, which I don't want to talk about, but he single-handedly took the Raptors and got him a championship just out of the blue. So I don't know. I think that I would take Kawhi Leonard over Butler because I feel like Kawhi is also one of those guys, when he's healthy at least, is he'll turn on the burners in the playoffs as well. And yeah, simple as that. I think Kawhi is a better defender, on-ball defender at least, and scoring.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll let you take the floor, but I think they're very similar players, but I'd have to give Kawhi the edge for sure.
Yeah, I've sat here this whole time. I'm really trying to make a case for Jimmy Butler because I really don't like Kawhi Leonard. He's everything I'm growing to dislike about the league when it comes to load management and just egos and doing whatever you want and players. Players. I'm definitely a believer in player empowerment, but there comes a line where it's like, dude, you have to actually play basketball. And this guy is milking an injury from 2 years ago at this point. Just says his knee's sore because he doesn't want to play till the playoffs. But with all that being said, Jimmy's best calling card is his defense. And I think that Kawhi is a better defender. And on top of that, Kawhi Leonard has 2 finals MVPs and 2 championships and beat the 2 most recent dynasties. I won't say single-handedly in San Antonio, but definitely in Toronto. And I know the Warriors were down, multiple players as well, but Jimmy Butler's never done anything remotely like that. If Jimmy had won in the bubble and had single-handedly won that series against the Lakers, yeah, I think I could make the case because that would have been on the same playing field as what Kawhi was able to accomplish in Toronto. But I think at their peaks, and that's what we always say, what Christian always says when we do this, at his peak, right? At his peak. I think it's got to be Kawhi. He's a better defender, and he's accomplished more. I mean, look, Jimmy's never been the best player in the world, and we've had that conversation about Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, valid.
I like you brought up if Jimmy won in 2020, we can make a case. Because let me propose this question: which is more likely to happen, if you will. The Lakers half their team going down or Anthony Davis not being healthy, which is more likely?
I think that's an obvious question.
Probably
Yeah.
I think it is pretty obvious. So are we really going to be like, yeah, I mean, Kawhi got it, but we are literally Anthony Day-to-Day Davis away from Jimmy Butler having a ring as well. And if KD is there, Klay Thompson is there, that's my case. Now, I'm not going to be like, yeah, Jimmy Butler's better because of that. And I would actually agree at their peak. I mean, efficiency offensively, Kawhi's definitely way better. You could bring up the longevity in terms of injury history as part of an argument for Jimmy, but I think it's an interesting hypothetical. I think people would view Jimmy Butler a lot differently if he got that ring, and vice versa if Kawhi didn't get his.
Well, here's another hypothetical. If Jimmy Butler hits that shot last year against the Celtics, how does this conversation go?
Oh, man.
Really would have changed things. I don't think they beat the Warriors, but I think it adds to his resume. The fact he's the main guy. The Spurs thing, you got to give him a lot of credit for being the Finals MVP, but he had so much help around him, and he was not the number one guy offensively on the Spurs.
Yeah.
So I think it becomes an argument, but ultimately, I think Jimmy Butler, to make a case for me, I think he would need to probably win a championship and then maybe make another appearance to kind of like match his, Kawhi's legacy. And honestly just be more offensively efficient as a player. Like we brought up, it's not a joke. Sometimes he just does cardio out there. Like he has.
I don't think it's efficiency that the issue is. It's more consistency for me, right?
Which will reflect in the shooting numbers.
Yes,
he doesn't shoot 50-something%, when Kawhi is capable of doing that for long stretches. And I think that's just what kind of separates them. Is Kawhi is just way better offensively and a tad bit better defensively.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that if Butler somehow took any of these Heat teams he's been on to the finals and won, he's 100% winning the Finals MVP because he's more than half of that team. Yeah. But that being said, Kawhi got the Finals MVP on that loaded Spurs team, and then he went and got it by himself in Toronto. Brought the only championship to Canada ever. So,
right?
I don't know, man. I think Jimmy Butler still got he to make a case for me at least. He'd have to win a lot more, and I think winning. That being said, he's going to get his Finals MVP. Assuming he's on these Heat teams. That I mean, as of right now, if the Heat win the Finals, geez, that would be a long shot. Yeah. But
he's running out of time too, unfortunately. Yeah, I believe he's like 34. He's getting old. I
don't know. It's not looking good. I think best case scenario, the Heat bring in someone crazy. They good chemistry, kick it off and go, or he gets traded to somewhere else. But
Zach LaVine.
Yeah. But anyway,
that does not fit the Heat.
Yeah, I don't know
at all.
It would be entertaining.
Yeah, you just say that about anywhere Zach LaVine could potentially go.
Yeah, because he's rotting in Chicago. I want to see him anywhere else.
As a Bulls fan, I want to let's blow it up, man. We have this.
Yeah,
I think blow it up for sure. But
DeRozan to LA and Zach LaVine in the Mavs.
Yeah, talking about Zach LaVine and the Bulls. For my better or worse, I was gonna go with a fellow Bulls player. So Jimmy Butler, better or worse, DeMar DeRozan.
God, I knew it was coming.
I think I have a quick answer.
Go ahead.
Very quick one. We just were able to compare. I mean, we all agreed that Kawhi was better as a consensus, but you can sort of make a case if you really want to die on that, Jimmy Butler hill. DeMar DeRozan had all the years in Toronto, and it was part of the reason that they just never could get it done. He's definitely a player. When we talk about elevating the playoffs, he does the opposite. That's really all I got to say. And to Jimmy Butler's credit, it's not great, but at least he can shoot the three at times. Feels a little bit better. We'd probably even
No,
hold him in
no.
higher regard. It's better than DeMar DeRozan's three, that's for sure.
Is it?
And like, yeah, it's statistically it
Jimmy
is.
Butler
I
DeMar
statistic.
can, DeMar can
Jimmy
barely
Butler.
attempt them,
Jimmy Butler is a career
especially in the playoffs.
32% 3-point shooter, and
Playoffs though.
DeMar is a 29% career 3-point shooter.
Okay, well Jimmy Butler's still better, but then playoffs is probably even worse. Like I'm saying, DeMar probably is like under 25%, and Jimmy might like probably be average, maybe close to
Jimmy
40.
is 34 in the playoffs.
Okay, that was a little high for me.
DeMar,
It's better.
hey, DeMar is 21.
oh boy.
So you do have a point there.
Yeah, it's been kind of ugly, really ugly for some stretches and even for whole series for DeMar DeRozan. And when Kyle Lowry's your running mate, very overrated point guard in my opinion, even in his peak years.
Oh yeah.
It's not ideal, but yeah, I think Jimmy Butler has just been more successful in his career. Regular season, playoffs, he's definitely a better defender. You can make a case that DeMar's better offensively, maybe like his peak
I think
years,
you can
but
absolutely make the case that Jimmy Butler or DeMar is better offensively.
you can make the case. But when I think of like playoffs, that's where it gets dicey. I'm just gonna take Jimmy Butler though, like pretty sold on it.
Yeah.
So all right, I'm going to take Jimmy Butler. I'm just going to say that beforehand. But I do want to say that Jimmy Butler has never been capable of averaging 28 points like DeMar DeRozan did last year. Nowhere even remotely close as Jimmy Butler's offensive output. If you want me to pull up the numbers, Jimmy's best points per game ever in 2016 with the Bulls was 24. Okay.
And that he hasn't had more with the Heat.
No, he's never gone over 22.
Because even then, like having 24, 2016 with the Bulls and 28 last year with the Bulls, like 6 years time, we talk about pacing and whatnot. I don't think that's
no.
I don't think 4 points.
You make that argument from
better.
decade to decade, not 6 years.
6 years and 4 points, like that's not to me a huge selling point. Like you'd be like, yeah, DeMar's.
Well, I'm still taking
better offensively.
I'm just saying DeMar. Well, career
not like
6
crazy.
Years, you want to know what DeMar averaged in 2016? 27 points.
Yes.
So he still averaged 4 more points than Jimmy Butler back then. So
yeah, it's just
I'm just making the case that DeMar he's a better offense.
It's not like Jimmy's averaging 16. I mean, he's right there.
Okay. All I'm saying is DeMar's better offensively, man.
It's just not far and away. Like Jimmy Butler he's close, and especially in the playoffs, he's better.
No, Jimmy Butler.
So I think that levels out,
and DeMar does not. But for that reason, I have to take Jimmy Butler because big games matter, and DeMar does not have a very good track record.
Yeah, I think after this discussion, like when I look at these like star NBA players, like I'll be honest, this year Butler's I haven't been paying much attention just because of what's going on in Miami, aka nothing. So I don't know. I tend to like rank players like S tier, A, B, C, and the list goes on. But I before we had this discussion, I feel like I almost had Jimmy Butler and DeRozan kind of at that same tier, maybe like a B, somewhere around that tier. But I don't know, man. Like I can't just hate on DeRozan here because he's still putting up decently offensive numbers. Jimmy Butler's doing what he can for the Heat, but I don't know. Like a part of me wants to give Jimmy Butler that edge and kind of, put him B plus while DeRozan's B, but I don't know, man. Like I'm, and this is just talking just currently right now, all the time. I mean, I would also take Jimmy Butler, but
okay.
Just as of today, like I don't know, like would you guys say that they're kind of in that same tier of star? Because they're not, they're not Luka or Jason Tatum players like that, but they're still the stars of their team.
I
could see that today. Yeah, definitely.
I think DeMar in the last 2 years has actually probably had the best. Last year was by far the best year of his career. So,
right.
I think he's taking a step back this year, but I still think that he's in that same B tier, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
as Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
So, We can move on. The next guy we want to have some discussion about is back-to-back MVP Nikola Jokic and where he
Yeah.
falls on the all-time ladder. So I'm going to kick it off. I think I got a really good name here, and I'm interested to see where you guys go with this. But better or worse all time than Nikola Jokic, Pau Gasol.
Wow.
Paul Gasol never won an MVP, let alone 2.
Jokic never won a championship, let alone
Yeah,
2.
yeah, but was
I see
Paul
what
that
you did
main
there.
guy? Yeah, you can't tell me that like Paul's not even close offensively, man. Can't facilitate that well, can't score that well. Yeah, like he's bigger, but I'm sorry. Like as a player, I just love what Nikola Jokic brings so much more. Man, you give Jokic Kobe, that's a dynasty. Like
Yeah,
that's really
dangerous.
my rebuttal. I love Pau Gasol too. I'm not trying to hate on him, man. I mean, probably one of the best players to ever come out of Spain, but he's a second option. He's no main guy, top of the MVP ladder type of guy like Jokic.
All right, Luke, you
I
concur?
think, yeah, I think this is my case. I think you look at Pau Gasol, he's got 2 rings. Whether he hopped in Kobe's backpack or not, that I think that's common knowledge as well. But Jokic, I think we can all agree that as an all-around player, defensively, I mean, maybe you could make the case Pau Gasol is better. I don't really buy into Jokic as a good defender, but everything else, I think it's clear that Jokic is far and away better than Pau Gasol. But and Jokic he just had a career high triple double or career high in rebounds, 27 rebounds, triple double against the Hornets.
Yeah, like 43 points. It was a monster stat
I
line.
mean, Pau Gasol's not doing that. I mean, he's got 2 rings, but like maybe if Jokic had 1 MVP, you could make that argument. But 2 MVPs, that is so, unless you are that guy in the NBA, that is so hard to do. And I think this is just a clear answer. I'd have to go with Jokic for sure.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna make this a lot harder. That's for sure.
Well, I just miscalculated your guys' opinion.
Oh no, yeah, that sounds like a
Jokic.
dig, man. I'm sorry. I just think this is like gonna be a very interesting discussion. I think Pau Gasol, like in theory, is a good, like probably before last season. That's a discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, this was more just I was being like, oh yeah, what a terrible. No, that was a good debate. I'm more of this is gonna probably take you guys a minute to think. So I'll give it to you. Better or worse than Dirk Nowitzki?
Worse.
Oh man.
But this is not
right away.
Dude, you're talking about a 30,000 point scorer. Like, it's
really Jokic is gonna get there. That's your argument, right?
No, I'm not saying that. I'll listen and maybe even support the case that Jokic could easily get there and be that guy. But as of right now, I think Dirk is the second best power forward maybe ever. So you talk about carrying a team. I mean, this guy did it not once but twice. He lost the first time to the Heat, and then he beats the big 3 that nobody thought would ever lose. He beats them as they're mocking him for being sick. He beats them in the finals single-handedly. I mean, his next best player, Jason Kidd, was like 55 years old on that team. I swear to God.
Like, they'll sleep on Sean Marion.
Matrix.
They had Jason Terry,
Brendan
Haywood.
Jokic could easily get there, and I think it's there, but he's not. We haven't seen it yet. He doesn't have the longevity aspect that Dirk has yet. Doesn't have the championships. I don't know. I don't think did Dirk win? I think he won 1 MVP. I could be wrong.
I believe he might have got 1 as well. Having trouble with the year. It might have been really early in his career.
I think it was pretty early, but yeah, I got to go Dirk. I mean, to say a current player who's fairly young is better all time already than a 30,000 point NBA champion. It's probably my second best power forward, unless I'm missing somebody. He's behind Tim Duncan. I could be missing somebody, but a consensus top 5 power forward of all time. No.
Giannis would be an interesting conversation.
Giannis would be an interesting conversation.
I think there was a part of me that wanted to cap a little hard, but I second everything that Caleb just said. You cannot even make that argument right now. If you're a part of the 30,000 point club, maybe I should have just said Dirk right off the bat too, but I do like where I do like where Jokic's career is going, but you can't.
No, dude,
I just can't say that.
I overshot. I thought a guy would be closer, and he was way better than
that's a very.
Jokic,
I think
Jokic is way better than Powell. Like,
yeah,
I was on the other end of the spectrum. I thought you guys were gonna be close on that, just because from like the MVP stance, and just I think Jokic is such a unique talent, but.
Yeah,
I knew getting over that 2011 run, and as a career, Dirk was pretty consistent.
He was that
and
guy.
It's tough to be like Jokic is just gonna like be way better than Dirk. Like,
I mean, you got to look
in
at
terms of what he brings
about,
to a team. It's like
when you're talking about ranking somebody all time, you got to look at it like this: if Jokic got hurt in a car accident tomorrow and never played another game, would we say he's a better power forward all time than Dirk Nowitzki?
Well, he's not a power forward, but
okay, better big man. A better player all time than Dirk Nowitzki. No, I would love to. I mean, I would be shocked if you would say the opposite of what I'm saying, Christian. So, when you look at it, when you're ranking all time, when it comes to younger guys, to me, it gets really hard when you start to get into what that GOAT category, the 30,000 point club, some of the top players to ever play the game. It gets really hard. It's fun to say what if, but it gets really hard to say, yeah, he's already there. So,
I agree. I think when it's all said and done for Jokic's career, that depending on the trajectory of what his career, if he keeps this up, I mean, geez, we could make that argument. But as of right now, yeah, I will not be disrespecting Dirk. But anyway, I guess I'll pull up my player here. So
it'll be more close. I overshot for sure.
I undershot. So.
Yeah, I think I don't know. This one's tough because the accolades. Okay, I'm not even gonna say it. I think I have my viewpoint on this guy, but just comparing Jokic to what I did was I looked up like the all-time best centers in the in NBA history, and I was going down this list, and like this guy, man, he has a very big knock on him, and once I say his name, you'll know. So better or worse, Nikola Jokic. Patrick Ewing.
I thought you were gonna say Dwight Howard, and I thought it was gonna be a really interesting conversation.
I'm taking Jokic over Howard. I'm taking Jokic over Howard immediately.
Okay, that was kind of where I got when it came to asking about Dwight Howard. That's why I didn't ask him. But
yeah, interesting.
Patrick Ewing, man.
Yeah.
What's his knock? Playoff performance?
Never won a championship. Neither has Jokic, but I don't know. Patrick Ewing, he was always that guy who just came up short. And I looked at some of his numbers, and Jokic is, I mean, not all time like career. Well, maybe career wise, because Jokic has had a shorter career.
Season career. I actually think I'm taking Jokic for sure. Yeah, I think they might actually get a championship in that day and age if Jokic is there. Like Ewing was just a garbage Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson.
No. Stop it.
To be honest.
You want to talk about getting a championship. You think Jokic is going to be the defensive difference in stopping Jordan comparative to Patrick Ewing?
I think he would be the offensive match.
How much? Pick a year. Pick a year. Let me read off Ewing's stats. And I'm not even making the case for Ewing. I'm just saying Jokic would not have made a difference for those Knicks teams, man. Let me just read. Career average 20 points. Didn't average less than that until 98 when he was high 30s. Averaged 28 points a game in 89, 26, 24, 24, 24. Career average.
Where's that MVP?
10 rebounds. Well, I'm not saying I'm taking him over Jokic, but to say that Jokic would automatically be the difference to beat the Bulls, no.
I'm not necessarily
saying he's a poor man's David Robinson.
I think one of the years the Bulls didn't win, I think Jokic maybe gets it
The
like
Knicks,
that 95
yes, the
year.
Knicks should have won that year. And you know what? Everybody's a poor man's Hakeem in my eyes. That guy was, there's a very
Yeah.
It
few
was
that
really
aren't a
good.
poor man's Hakeem.
Yeah.
And, that was who ended up winning. So, that was Ewing's opportunity. But the fact that we have to discuss that one guy has to retire for this guy to win a championship means that I'm probably going to take Jokic in the discussion. All time, it's tough to put Jokic up there already, but 2 MVPs to his legacy. And honestly, I think they're in the championship hunt this year, especially with the Warriors down. They could very, very easily come out of the West. I think he just needs to improve his defense a little bit, and this would be a very easy decision. But this is close, but I might go Jokic.
Yeah, the Nuggets are second seed in the West right now. Man, I don't know. The reason I was saying all that stuff before, I said Patrick Ewing is obviously the championship. I mean, the championship knock applies to both of them because Jokic has been in the league for shorter, but I don't know, man. Jokic, just the numbers. He's had such an all-around game. Patrick Ewing is a far and away better defender, but offensively, dude, Jokic is, I mean, you're dropping a casual triple-double like on any given night. He'll probably put up a triple-double. It's just, we haven't seen someone like Jokic in such a long time. And I don't know. The comparison
I'll say this,
to
Hakeem, I do want to say this, man. If you plug Jokic back in the 90s, I don't think he's doing what he's doing now. I think his numbers go down.
I disagree. He's got a 3.
I
think that changes.
I don't think that.
I think that changes
style.
teams. That would change teams. You think Hakeem's going to be able to come out and guard this man, and then that'll free up the paint. Like, I think teams would have to adjust to that.
Okay, I don't think we can compare Hakeem to Jokic at all right now. I think Hakeem
I'm not saying Hakeem. I'm saying
Jokic alive. I'll be honest. I do think that
I'd like to see him get out of the paint, though. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But I think you put Jokic back in those days.
Jokic is just not good enough interior defender to stand on his own in those days.
Yeah, the case of like the different pacing, I think Jokic would actually do very well back then because he's not a very fast guy. He does all this stuff. Yeah. I think he'd be more of a 4.
I could get behind that.
It's so much more of a physical game back then. I don't see Jokic taking a beating like every night, especially against these guys like Hakeem, Ewing, like whoever you want to name, dude. That would be a murder scene, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. I just don't see. Yeah, you put him as a stretch 4 in the 90s. I think he could be very successful, but he's not a back-to-back MVP. No chance.
Interesting way to look at it. Probably ends really. I think it depends where he ended up.
Yeah.
Right away, I think like Boston. That would be an interesting place for him to be. Lakers, Nuggets back in the day, maybe.
Boston when in the 80s?
Whenever Ewing's career, maybe in like that early 90s window. I know Bird was older, but I don't know, man. I just think there's some different times you could throw him in. It'd be an entertaining watch.
Yeah.
But I could see because he's not really very good defensively now. I could see why going into the 90s, that lack of defense would be alarming for sure. But no, Ewing was that's a very good name to bring into the conversation. Unless any of you guys had a better or worse player to propose, we can hop right into who he played for and close it out.
Yeah, that works for me. I don't have anybody else. So, all right. Luke looks excited. I'll let him go first.
Man.
I'll let him go first.
I scoured. I was sitting here with my dad. We were watching whatever game was on earlier. I said, every time we do this, who he played for, Christian gets it within 5 seconds. Like I would money line. Like I'm taking the money line for Christian's guessing. But for these two guys, man, I did a deep dive. And I'll just start it off. Let's go. Let's get right into it. Who he played for. So, man, do I give the years? One of these guys.
No, you don't.
Okay, you want to know what? I guess I won't give the years. Which I don't know. We'll
I'm hurting myself by saying don't give Christian the years.
All right. So let's start off here. So this guy drafted by the Hornets. He stayed there for a year. He was then traded to the Trailblazers, and he played there for 3 years. He was then traded to the Bulls for part of this season, and after that stint, I think he was probably waived. He signed with the Knicks for a year. The year after that, he signed with the Timberwolves for a year. He was then traded to the Nuggets at the beginning of that year and signed back with the Bulls, where he was waived again after less than a month at the end of that year. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to not give you years because it makes it sound confusing. Anyway, I'm getting to the good part. He was then signed by the Nets, where he played 4 games before being waived.
Bro, did we do years last time?
I'll be honest.
No.
I'll be honest. I can give the years after, but I'm getting to the good part here. So after he played 4 games with the Nets, he was waived. He then spent a year of his life over in Shanghai on the Shanghai Sharks. And he was signed by the Celtics and currently plays for them now, which is about.
Oh, actually, I do know this. I do know this.
I was going to say the Celtics.
It was 3 seconds.
Give me my money. I put my money on that, man.
I think I actually know this, and if it's not, then I'm wrong.
All right,
I have a backup, but
I'll give you the years. All right. Drafted. I'll try to make it not as confusing either. Drafted by the Hornets.
This tracks.
Yeah, drafted by the Hornets 2014. Played there 2014 through 2015. Traded to the Trailblazers, where he played 2015 to 2018. Traded to the Bulls in 2018, which I don't even remember that. But anyway, he was waived, signed by the Knicks 2018, 2019. Next year, signed with the Timberwolves 2019, 2020.
Unbelievable.
Traded to the Nuggets at the beginning of 2020. Signed back with the Bulls. Bulls tossed him in the trash. And then he signed with the Nets in 2021, 4 games, tossed him in the trash. Stint with the Shanghai Sharks 2021, 2022, and he is now in the Celtics.
Caleb, you're gonna be so mad at me, man.
This guy, you definitely know this guy. You know this guy, but the middle stuff I included because I did a Wikipedia deep dive. I needed to find
This is still such a random name, bro.
Oh yeah,
I'll give you I can't even. Right? The 2018 Bulls were like the worst team ever.
That I'll say this, okay? I remember him being on the Trailblazers 2015, 2018, and now he's on the Celtics. He's played this year. I'll give you a hint. He is a big man, and he went to IU, Indiana University.
That drafted by the Hornets. I mean, I don't know. Is it one of the? No, they went to Duke. I don't have a guess. My guess is I don't think he played for the Bulls. So go ahead, Christian.
It's our boy Noah Vonleh.
Noah Vonleh.
Gosh, I'm never getting that.
I did not know that he played for the Shanghai Sharks, but hey, good for him. You know, there's good things going on over there.
That is so garbage.
I thought he needed the years. I guess not. That's crazy.
Don't worry, I got an even better guy for later. But you guys can go ahead.
All right, I got a guy, and I'm starting to develop this habit of trying to get like the most out of a guy I can and get it by you guys. Does that make sense? Like the best player I can find and try and get you guys to not figure it out.
Okay. Yeah.
So that means nothing. So that I'm not even doing that guy right now. So that means nothing. But I guess you can remember it for the future. So okay. So let me pull this up. This guy, and I'm not giving years until you guys ask for it, but originally drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers. He spent a good amount of time there, and then went to Denver. Then he played for Golden State. Then he played for Miami, and then he played for Golden State, and he is not currently on the roster. Oh, sorry. He also, before he went to Miami, he did spend time in Memphis as well, but he was waived before the season started, and then picked up by Miami.
Has he been out of the league for just like a year?
This is his first year out of the league. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Man. So you said 76ers to the
Nuggets
Nuggets to the Warriors?
to the Warriors to Memphis for a preseason, and then finished the year with Miami, and then closed out in Golden State.
Oh man.
And he's not on a team this year?
And he's not on a team this year.
Oh man. Oh,
What?
jeez. This is tough. This one's tough.
I don't know. What are the years?
Drafted in 04 by the Sixers.
Oh, no.
Went to Denver in 2012. Spent Golden State from 13 to 18. Memphis in 2019. Miami in 2019. Miami in 2020. And Golden State last year.
Is it Iggy?
Is that your final answer?
It
The Grizzlies
could
stint.
be.
I feel like the Grizzlies
But
stint.
he's on the Warriors this year.
No, he's no. I see
he's
him on the
not.
bench wearing his
Oh, he's-
outfits.
he's
I
a-
don't think he's on
he's
the
a
roster
coach.
though.
He's on the.
I think he's a coach or
No,
something.
he
Yeah.
said he came back. I saw him come out. I swear.
Well, I think we all know who this player might be.
Well, yeah, because I was
No, it
like,
is. Is
I was
Iggy your
like-
final answer?
yeah.
Yeah, it's Iguodala, but
That was a good
Well,
one.
I
Oh,
didn't have him on my
jeez.
radar because I
did. If he's on the roster, my apologies, but he has. It's not listed on Basketball Reference, and he hasn't played a game or practiced. I don't think this year. So
No, I've seen him on the bench, like wearing all like fancy.
I thought
outfits,
I thought
talking
he
to the
was
players.
a coach. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought he was a coach. 'Cause he
Yeah.
basically was a coach last year.
yeah. He's ramping up from a left hip injury, and the Warriors have yet to pinpoint a target date for the veteran wing to make his 2022-23 debut.
Wow.
Wow.
I thought he was out.
My
of the league for
apologies.
sure.
I thought he was done, and he only played
Jeez.
30 games last year for the
Yeah.
Warriors. So
Yeah,
How
that
old is he, man? How old is he now?
he's
Like
39.
Oh no, 38. 38.
Oh,
It
he's
says
turning
38.
39.
Yeah, he's old.
Jeez.
He's Udonis Haslam old.
Yeah, 2004. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's
Finals MVP.
oh, that's crazy.
that
That is
So
crazy.
garbage.
Yeah,
remember when he was in Memphis and he just didn't want to play?
I think the team didn't like him. Like they
That's
wanted him
it.
out of there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I got it. I was like, wait, Memphis? That's Iggy's the only guy. But geez, yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Thank you.
no. I'll list my guy, man. And it's yeah, you should be able to get him, but we'll see. He was drafted in 2008, 2009 with the Knicks. He spent 2.5 seasons there. He got traded midway in the 2010-11 season to the Nuggets. And he stayed with the Nuggets until, I mean, he was there through 2016-17, and then he signed with the Clippers. He was the Clippers for 2 seasons, and then in 2019-20, I believe he was traded in the offseason to the Thunder. And then from there, he was with the Hawks for the past 2 seasons. And this season, he signed with the Celtics.
I think I know it.
All right, you're gonna have to go through that again, please. I kind of blanked. You can go
He was-
fast.
Knicks 2008-9, stayed with the Knicks until 2010-11, which then he was with the Nuggets until 2017-18. He was with the Clippers. And for a year, he was with the Thunder in 1920, pandemic year, I believe. And then the last 2 seasons, he was with the Hawks. And now he's currently with the Celtics.
I think I might know it. Jeez.
I'd be pretty
Knicks
impressed.
player.
But like, you're definitely, you know the name for sure. Both of you guys know the name.
No, I don't think Evan Fournier is not on the.
That's who came to mind for me.
Is he on the Celtics?
I thought he was like on the Magic at some point. I was thinking
Evan
Evan Fournier, but
Fournier.
is it that? No way, it's that easy.
That's not easy. What do you mean? He's like a career 77 overall in Tuesday.
Yeah, he's all reliable. He's all
Okay.
reliable.
I am gonna do this. I'm gonna point you guys in the right direction and say it is not Evan Fournier.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. The fact that we both thought of the wrong answer and it was the same.
Oh man.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Good shot.
Knicks to the Nuggets.
It's Nixon, what year? 08 or 12?
2008-9 was when he got drafted to the Knicks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in 2010-11, he went to the Nuggets and spent the majority of his career there.
Gosh, dude, I don't know.
Can we get a position? Like a
I give you actually a good hint. He tore his ACL with the Nuggets, and he tore his ACL this year. He's yet to make his debut for the Celtics.
tore his ACL with the Nuggets.
Last 2 seasons, he played good minutes with the Hawks.
Wait. Oh, the Hawks, though. No chance he was on the Hawks.
The Hawks.
Surprised you guys didn't see. He was definitely in the Trae Young playoff series. Definitely was getting minutes in that.
What? Oh, man.
Why am I thinking of Jared Dudley?
Why am I thinking of Austin Rivers? Oh
Jeez, you guys are
I am
both
not on the
wrong with
right
those.
track. I am not on the right track.
All right, he's
man.
a forward. He's a forward.
He's a
Small forward, power forward.
Small
This
forward.
can be at 3 or 4.
For the
He's
Knicks.
also not from the USA. He's a foreign player.
Oh, that's why I can't think of him. I don't know those people.
That's really what I think you do. I think you both do.
Wait. No, he's too young. It's not Kristaps. No way.
I can say it if you guys give up. Maybe one more final answer from each of you
Bojan
guys.
Bogdanovic? I don't know.
That's a great guess.
I feel like it's like kind of like that name, but I don't.
Caleb?
We're gonna guess. I mean, yeah, I don't got Jakeem Noah. He didn't even play for the Bulls. So
It is Danilo Gallinari.
wow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that man just slipped through the cracks, dude.
That was a good one.
Blast from the past. But
He's
yeah.
with the Celtics?
Yep.
And he was with the Hawks?
Yeah, he was with the Hawks
last
Jeez,
year.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that. He was
Yeah.
the one guy.
Slept through.
He's
man.
that old? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been in the league for a long time. 35 almost. He doesn't look it, but he's old.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, is it my turn? Or is it Luke's?
Yeah, I think we
It is
can
my
go
turn?
one more time through.
All right.
Yeah, I got one
All
more
right.
guy.
This guy, I'm pretty happy about this guy. So I will
Oh,
preface, he is also not on a team this year, but he was on a team last year. So
Are you positive?
I'm absolutely positive. I looked this
Okay.
up.
Okay.
97% positive because
Okay.
I was pretty confident in Iggy being a coach. So, okay. Drafted by Philadelphia. I'm not going to do the years right away, but spent a good amount of time there. He then went to Atlanta for 2 years. He spent a season in Toronto, 2 seasons with the Lakers, a season in Houston, and then 4 seasons with the Clippers. Sorry. But then
Yeah, I know who this is.
That's just ridiculous, man. That's just ridiculous.
All right, well, you might as well start over with the years because I have no clue, man. I had no clue.
I was so confident. How do I get Iggy by you and I don't get this one? All right. Drafted by the Sixers in 2005. He went to the Hawks in 2012. 2014, he went to the Raptors. 2016, he was with the Lakers. 2016, he also was with the Rockets. 2017 through 2020, he was with the Clippers. In 2020 and 2021, he was with the Hawks. So last year, he was with the Hawks.
Oh, man. Why am I thinking of some old big man who played for Atlanta last year?
He's not a big man.
It's not a big man.
Yeah, jeez. I am lost in the sauce. Oh my gosh.
You definitely know this player.
Oh, you totally do. Drake mentions him in a song. That's a good hint.
What are we doing?
Drake
I don't-
mentions him in a song.
I don't think that's gonna help
Actually,
Luke.
is that true?
It is. It is. Especially when you hear that. I'll give you the title of the song.
Why are
if
you
really get
giving
stuck.
hints for my player?
Oh, sorry. I just
Okay,
this
well,
guy's nostalgic.
If I'm being
This
honest,
is
sorry.
such a flex, man. This guy's just like, oh yeah, Drake Benson song. I know for sure.
okay, well, if I'm being honest, I'm
All right,
lost.
he's been in the league since 2005. He's played a career 1,123 games, and he's only started 122 times.
Okay, so not a very good, kind of a solid bench guy. What was the name of the Drake song?
Oh my god.
Can I
Bail
give it
me
to
out,
him?
Aubrey.
It is your guy. It is your guy. So
Lou
You want me to give it to him?
Williams.
oh no, I was gonna say the song Six Man.
Wait, look. Oh, yeah. For some reason, I thought he was still hanging around or something. Because I thought of him at first. I was like,
Yeah.
is he even in the league right now? But I don't know. I was sure he was. But, jeez, man. Lou Will.
Yeah, he is not
Six
in the
man
league,
like Lou
which is-
Will. Okay.
Yeah.
okay. Jeez.
Yeah. No,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
God, this
I'm kind of surprised he's not in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry. That was crazy.
Okay, six man like Lou. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, yeah, Christian, you're ridiculous. Anyway, I'm just gonna get on with my player.
it's
If you get
it's
this guy,
ridiculous. Man.
if you get this guy, I don't know. I just don't know. All right, let's start it off here. So this guy was drafted by the Kings. I'm just gonna give you the years because I'm confident. Drafted by the Kings in 2014. Played there for 2014, 2015. Traded to the Sixers through the 2015 to 2017 season. Okay. He doesn't know it yet.
It's
Two
been more than
teams.
5 seconds.
Yeah, okay. He was then traded to the Nets, and he played there 2017, 2018. They waived him. He was signed by the Trailblazers, 2018, 2019. And 2019 season, he was traded to the Cavs. Don't know if he played very much there. After that, he played overseas on, I can't pronounce this team, for the 2019-2020 season. And let me preface, he was also like on a team last year. He's in the G League now, but he was on a team last year.
Whoa.
So after his overseas stint, he spent time with the Raptors and Nuggets G League teams in 2021. He then signed a 10-day contract with the Heat 2021-2022, returned to the Nuggets G League team, and then in March of 2022, he signed with the Boston Celtics, which was the last team he played for. And I don't know if I guess I'll give you this. This might throw you off, but after that year, oh my God. After that year, traded to the Pacers and eventually waived. He didn't even play in Indiana. And he is currently on the Iowa Wolves G League team.
This is so stupid, man. There's no way you know this. He spent half his career in the G League.
Dude, if I'm right,
dude, I
don't have anybody else. But there's only a couple people I know in the G League that I like follow, and he's one of them.
Okay.
Do you have a guess, Caleb?
The only guy I can think of right now that I know for sure is in the G League is Kenneth Fareed, and I don't think that's the right answer.
Manimal was, yeah, he was an option.
It is not. It is not the Manimal. I'll give you that.
So no, I don't have an answer, Christian.
Okay,
this game is so skewed, man. It's so skewed. Me and Luke have to dig so deep.
I dug deep for this.
That is so good, man. That is so good.
I dug deep. I mean, I feel like when I think of this guy, at least his NBA career, maybe I remember him on the Sixers. Other than that, jeez.
Let me just make. Did he go to Michigan?
Okay. Yeah,
is this Trey Burke?
That's a great guess.
I'll give you another hint. He's He is a somewhat tall white guy, shooting guard. Known for his shooting. Christian got it for sure.
So
Michigan product. I
stupid.
think he won like Big Ten Player of the Year. He was drafted like eight or nine overall by the Kings.
Yeah, that was
I got it.
he's up there with like the Ben. I thought initially it might have been Ben McLemore.
That's initially who I thought of because you said drafted by the Kings, but he spent
Yeah.
too long there. I don't know. Go ahead, Christian.
It's Nick Stauskas.
Nick Stauskas.
Dude, he's like a 65 overall player. Career.
The only reason I knew the answer to this, I was waiting for him to say Celtics in the G League because I remember seeing he dropped like 70 on their like G League squad, and then they promoted him. He dropped 70 with somebody, and he was on the Celtics, and it was like a story.
Just for all the viewers,
pretty much like.
Just for all the viewers out there, if you didn't know that Stauskas dropped 70 in the G League, I mean, that's common knowledge. Clearly, that's common knowledge.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Everyone knows that, like it's just common knowledge at this point. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's getting to the point where the only I thought about maybe I take a guy who's been to every team in the league. At this point, I'm about to go for guys who've been on 2 teams. And that's it. Like,
that's it.
Whole year,
strategy change. Yeah, this guy.
I don't know, man. I'm speechless.
Give him less to work with. I got him in football. I'm kind of on a hot streak in football a little bit, getting you with like random career backup safeties or D linemen.
It's usually like 1 and 1. I usually get one and lose one. Okay. I'm pretty sure. Who did I get last week? Chase Daniel. Like that was.
Yeah, that you didn't get the other people I had for you. So
I don't even remember the other
people. But you remember it in the moment.
Usually, NBA is just chalk. It's impossible, guys.
We'll keep trying for you guys, but send in suggestions. We might have to open it up to all time and just be like, oh, this guy was drafted in 1975 by the Washington Bullets.
Yeah,
that would be entertaining.
Do you guys have any more? Christian, did you go twice already, or did you only have one?
Oh, what's this?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I do have one more guy for you guys, and then we can cap it off. Yeah, real quick. This guy was drafted in 2012-13. He was spent 2 years with the Nuggets, and then he was with the Magic from 2014-15 through 2021. And then, in 2020-21, then he got traded to the Celtics for a year. And in the last 2 seasons, he's been on the Knicks.
Oh, I don't know it. I tried to pull a Christian.
I was like, what? Yeah.
Jameer Nelson?
Luke, do you have an answer?
Can you go through the teams real quick again?
He's on the Knicks right now. He was with the Nuggets from 2012-13. Well, from 2012 through 2014. Then he's with the Magic up until like 2020. In the 2020-21 season, he got traded to the Celtics, where he finished out the year. And then the last 2 seasons, he's been with the Knicks.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, it's not Jameer Nelson?
Yeah, I'll rule that out. It's not Jameer Nelson.
Why am I thinking of him?
The teams somewhat follow.
Yeah.
Nuggets, Magic, Knicks.
I think he might have been drafted by the Magic. But man. Oh, jeez.
I think you guys are going to be very upset if you don't get this one.
Of course we are. We always are, Christian.
Yeah, we always are.
This one especially.
The Knicks. What year? Drafted by the Nuggets, sorry.
That he's with the Knicks?
With the Nuggets.
2012-13.
2012.
So, yeah, he's been in the NBA for 10 seasons, I believe.
Oh, man.
Long time Magic player.
I got to start studying for this, man.
I really do, man.
Like, what? Matt, oh, God.
I don't think of long time, like 8 years with the Orlando Magic. Who
Yeah,
does
that's what's throwing me off. Dude. And he's on the
It's-
Knicks now.
Oh no.
Alfred Payton?
There's no way it's Evan Fournier. There's
No way. There's no way.
There's no way it's Evan Fournier.
You said Alfred Payton. You said Evan Fournier. Is there any other answers you guys would like to throw out? Or would you like to lock in one?
I think I need to lock in Evan Fournier.
Dude, yeah, part 2, Evan Fournier. Yeah. Did we guess Evan
final
Fournier?
answer?
Yeah.
You guessed him earlier. It is Evan Fournier.
Let's go.
That's such a good.
If you guys if that snuck past, I brought the Magic Knicks thing. I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah, okay. That's the
there's
Magic.
no
I was like,
way.
okay, what guy has been on the Magic for longer than 3 years? Like that was like the only person I could think of. So
yeah.
Oh man.
Alfred Payton. Wow. That tracks.
Dude, I was just trying to think of
the
Magic players who went to the Knicks.
Yeah, that tracks, man. Jeez.
Oh jeez. Wow. What a segment.
What a day. what an NBA Tuesday.
What a world we live in, man. That's just
Oh boy.
crazy. But yeah, as always, guys, thanks for listening. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Send in suggestions to try and stump the human encyclopedia, because we're trying and it's not working. We're trying our hardest. But if you've got some guy who played one career game, send us the DM and we will hopefully stump Christian. But you never know at this point. So as always, guys, thanks for listening. And me and Christian will be back Thursday for our NFL Week 16 predictions. And I believe Luke will be back next Tuesday, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
For NBA Tuesday again. And hopefully we have a little more around the league updates, more than guys we don't like scoring a lot of points. So
open for some trades, man.
Yeah,
really would love a couple trades.
Yeah.
Deadline is February 9th. Just FYI, it's coming up.
It's creeping up. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care.